Divert your eyes over here to these amazing men in blue and white, and they'll be leading us in our Pledge of Allegiance. So please stand and join us if you so choose. Following Pastor Marsh, our young men will lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance.
Blessings and blessings to all of you on today. Let us pray. Father, we thank you, oh God, for this opportunity to come reverence you, oh God, the author and finisher of all of our faiths. We ask, oh God, that you bless us on tonight. God, grant us your wisdom, your insight, oh God, and your love as we, oh God, continue as a community to grow stronger together. We ask, oh God, that you continue to bless, oh God, our mirror and all the board of aldermen on tonight, God. And we ask, oh God, your grace be with them and mercy, oh God, in the name of Jesus. We ask that you bless this community. Let it continue to thrive, oh God, as a community. And God, we give your name the glory, the honor, and the praise. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. You guys can come up to the podium.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Hey guys, come up to that. We want to get your picture. We can't. Put your hands back up like you're saying the pledge. Right hand over your heart. Audience, can you guys stand too? Please. We just want to do just for the picture for the guy. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. Good job. Appreciate your participation in that. All right, we will now move on to our additions and deletions. Mayor Pro Tem.
Just Mayor, I'd like to add, fire and police pay, a discussion, and, I guess we can make that AC, right?
C.
And then, discussion on the, appointment of the manager, permanent town manager.
So that will be,
Oh, and I also need to remove 7C,
C.
police department update.
Okay, so we have removal of 7C and addition of 8C, which will be the discussion of the fire and police department's pay, and 8D will be discussion about the new manager. Excuse me, the vote for the new manager. Vote. I'll now entertain a motion to approve the agenda. Alderwoman Thompson.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda with said additions.
Alderwoman Chadwick.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries unanimously. We will now entertain a motion to approve the consent items, which are the draft minutes of the February 21st, 2024 special meeting. Mayor Pro Tem.
So moved.
Alderman Facio.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Both carries unanimously. We will now move on to our public comments. And we have quite a few people signed up for public comments. I do ask that you keep your comments to a minimum of 3 minutes. Please keep all sidebar conversations to the barest of minimums, and I forgot to say that at the beginning, but if you do have any cell phones, please put them on silent or vibrate as to not disturb the meeting. We will begin with Mr. O'Gara. I don't see him.
Oh, he's in the back.
Where is he? Oh, he's way in the back. Please state your name and address for the record, even though we do know who you are.
How you doing? My name is James Goodhour, 614 Dr. Grove, Spring Lake. I've been a past alderman for 20 years. I want to take the few moments of your time. I won't be here long. And try to be direct. It normally takes about 3 to 5 months to find a town manager. You guys have been working at it for the last 2.5 years. Also, the LGC has, who is backing you at the present time, has given the town manager the authorization to give the police a 20% raise in funds. For some reason, the town manager has decided that wasn't important. Well, your average police department in the area around here receives $45,000 a year starting pay. Our police get $38,000 starting pay. At that rate, you cannot even get an officer who is in transition to stop right here and start working. It's not possible. Not at that rate. An officer would come here to Spring Lake and utilize it as a training. And right now, they're not even thinking about using it as training, because you can get training other places at better rates. If we get an officer here, it would take 4 months before we could put him out on the road. I say 4 months of riding around with another officer before we could put him in the streets. And you can find this out by talking to your officers. Right now, I was told, or I read in the letter that was put out by the town manager, that we have 22 officers on staff. Don't want to call them a liar, but we have 16 officers on staff, and one of them is on, I guess, some kind of leave. It's female. We had one officer do his last duty Friday night, and he's gone. I don't know how these guys are supposed to function, do a day and night shift. And there's no in the world you can have senior officers, as I read in that paperwork, doing chief work. You have to have a designated chief in that spot. He's got to sign the paperwork. It's not something that can float around. And you've got to have a designated.
Mr. O'Beara?
And yes, ma'am.
That's your time, sir.
Oh, okay, thank you. Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will next have Dr. Dickerhoff. Please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, I'm Dave Dickerhoff. I operate a business at Spring Lake Dental Group at 103 Superior Drive. Mayor, Aldermen, thank you for allowing me to be here tonight. I'm here tonight representing myself and also as a member of the Spring Lake Community Appearance and Sustainability Committee. I would like to commend Ms. Cynthia Wilt, our chairperson, for her desire to make this committee as a vibrant arm of our local government. In my opinion, she does a wonderful job and is always looking for ways to make our efforts relevant to the community's betterment. One of the many challenges that we face as part of local government is to be able to identify code and ordinance violations, monitor, make recommendations, and discuss potential ways we can improve our community's eye appeal and quality of life. As an outgrowth of that desire to be an active problem solver in identifying code violations, we invited Alliance Code Enforcement to our last community meeting. As I understand it, Alliance Code Enforcement is the private company our town is engaged to act as a change agent to what once was our inspections department. The contract has their inspector here 3 days a week to monitor and enforce code and ordinances. I would hope that our board and mayor would welcome us, the Community Appearance Committee, in giving input to Alliance in their efforts to complete this mission. The harvest is great, but the workers are few when it comes to areas within our town that could use improvement. We foresee a potentially advantageous and cordial relationship between these two entities. In meeting the representative, Mr. Derek Mabe, who I understand is on your agenda tonight, we are extremely impressed with his desire to assist our town in a meaningful and productive way. He seems to be incredibly competent and enthusiastic about undertaking this mission. He impressed the committee about the number of cases he has initiated since his hire date of late last year. I would encourage you to support him in his efforts and agree to our request to assist him in identifying problem areas. In closing, I hope that you will continue your efforts to display strong, competent local government so that the LGC releases their hold on our ability to govern ourselves. As a local businessman who loves this town, the sooner the better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. DeGraw. We will have Mr. Fitch. Please state your name and address.
My name is Nathaniel Fitch Senior. I live at 735 Goodyear Drive. Oh, yeah. I'm going to ask you guys 5 questions. I'm gonna read them off real quick so I can save time. And maybe you guys can enlighten me and help me. I'm not gonna direct question at you and you. I'm just gonna start from here.
Mr. Fitch, before you ask questions, I just want to make sure you know that we are not allowed to respond during public comments.
Well, I told my staff, I told my people I would ask the question.
Okay.
But then I'm asking another one, why can't you answer? But let's look at that. First question I wanna know, I wanna know why you guys, fire, Chief Spellman. Next question I wanna know is what's the qualification is to, hire a town manager. The next question I wanna know is how many police do we have on duty right now to work? I don't know that. Hold on. Who's gonna take over for the police department? One of them gentlemen back there? There's 3 of them back there, I can't call their name, but they told me not to. You know, and stuff we got. I feel some kind of way coming out of my house in the morning time. You got a bunch of, individuals driving down the road on their 4-wheeler, and I can't say anything. If I do, then they wanna come get me. And if I call them, they send me downtown. What am I to do? And the last one is, we got a boxing event coming over the 4th of May. I want to invite all you guys to come out and support the cause. Now, you can ask the question.
We're not allowed to answer questions from public comments, Mr. Fitch. We will definitely get back with you.
You can't tell me why y'all fired the chief?
Sir, we will get back with you with the answers to your questions, but we are not allowed to respond during public comments.
How long does it take to get a town manager in here?
So we're not allowed to respond to questions during public comment.
I'm gonna tell like that. Well, I mean, it's fair enough. I mean, I had my phone ringing left and right, but thing happened, and they calling me. I said, you need to go to town meeting and talk to the mayor. And, I had a dozen or so people come up, said he gonna come up. I'm on here. So I appreciate your time, and if anything happen, I need, to fix it, I'll fix it.
Thank you so much, sir. Next, we'll have Ms. Frederica Sutherland.
I should have called your name.
Good evening, board members. Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity. I've stood here several times before, and I'm sorry that I'm back here, speaking the same thing. During your last budget meeting, I got up and I spoke with the LGC as well as the board members. I know your job that you hold is very serious. It's very dear to me. When you all hired Chief Spellman, you hired him with the experience that he has. Very professional, to my understanding, always stood firm for his police department. He's been asking you all on several different times, it's in the media, as well as I have it documented here. When I came before you all to advocate for the police department to get more hired, Mr. Lackman, you stated to Mr. Spellman, I'm sorry, sir, I can't help you with that request. It breaks my heart because we came before you all and asked you, but you singled him out when he was trying to get help for his police department. Go back and look at your minutes. And you said, Sarah, I'm sorry, I can't help you with your request. He's been several different times to the LGC, to the board member, standing firm, trying to get help for our citizens, for the police department. Our police work hard. They deserve to get the highest pay they can get. When we call them, sometimes they come because they stretched out, trying to serve Walmart, the citizens, and to be treated this way with the media, to read that our chief, we're in the news again, have been terminated, escorted out of here, and the way he was escorted out of here was not even dignity. That hurts. As well as the local government commission has been here. They're using town vehicles, to my understanding. Why has the phones not been fixed? I've called about that concern. Why was it even changed to T-Mobile? And I don't know who benefits out of that. Why is the board member using town vehicles to go on trips when we have a policy and put it in place that when I served on the board, was not able to utilize town vehicle and taxpayer dollars? I'm a little concerned what's going on in our town, and I think that when we serve in this capacity, we don't need to take it personal, and we don't need to make it differences between races, departments, street cleanups, or anything of that nature. I say this to say, when I was walking in, somebody asked me that question. I said, ma'am, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm gonna put it out here. And I know it's hard, and it was hard for me to understand and to hear different things. I got 30 seconds. It says 30 seconds remaining. Okay, I hear you. I see it. But anyway, it's concerning as a citizen that this stuff is going on in the town. We need a town manager, a qualified town manager. Let's not make this stuff personal, because it's not right. Do the job of policy, procedure, and general statutes. Thank you for your time. Do the job.
My sincerest apology. I was looking out of my peripheral, so
That's fine.
so my apologies for interrupting.
I accept it.
Mr. Ponder,
Good evening, Mayor.
please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. My name is Henry Ponder. I live at 1620 Mack Street here in Spring Lake. I've been a resident of the town for almost 31 years. I'm not here for what they were here for today. Mine is something new, and I don't know if you all are aware of it. I received in the mail a letter from the Cumberland County Joint Planning Board concerning a rezoning of some property behind my neighborhood. And I don't know how many people in the neighborhood has gotten this letter, and I don't know if you are aware of it. And there's a meeting on the 19th of March in Fayetteville concerning this. One question that I have is, they're the planning board and they're part of Cumberland County. If it's affecting the town of Spring Lake, why can't they have this board meeting here? Because the people are not gonna drive to Fayetteville to attend these meetings. Which therefore it puts them in a position not to be concerned about what the citizens of Spring Lake concerns are in that area. The second thing is, do you all know about this?
We're not allowed to respond to questions.
I'm not waiting for you to respond, just put it out there that you know about it. Okay, and if you do know about it, what are we gonna do? Are you gonna have something here for the citizens to come up and speak on this matter? Because I'm not with this, because it's right behind me, and from my understanding, it's gonna be 76 feet from my property line on Mack Street. And right now, we have enough noise with the planes coming in from the base out there. They're not often, but you know, they have their flight times. And there's a concrete plant over there, and at 6 o'clock in the morning, you can hear them over there working the vehicles. If they move it 76 feet from my property line, that's gonna take that tree barrier out of there, so that noise is gonna increase in that area. So I would like for someone to look into that and let us know what we can do about it. And I have 2 minutes, can I give it to someone else?
Thank you so much, Mr. Ponder. All right, I'd like to take a point of privilege to address a few things through our town manager. So, Mr. Williams?
Thank you, Mayor. I want to share a letter that I have here from Chief Spade. It is actually, I am writing this letter to formally announce my resignation as the role of Police Chief of the town of Spring Lake, March 6, 2024. I would like to thank you for allowing me to serve as the police chief for the past few years. I have forged friendship with many of the co-workers and citizens in the community that will last a lifetime. Thank you again for accepting my resignation and giving me privilege to serve as the police chief. That was for everybody that, just so everybody understands on the same page.
Can I take them 2 minutes? Just,
No.
They're just trying to clear that up. It was kind of stuff got rushed a little earlier. It was put out before it was done, and this was not. Me and him was talking about this, and somebody put it out that this is what was going on. So it was kind of a miscommunication. He resigned from this position. So, just want to clear that up.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. We will please keep all conversations to a minimum. We will now move on to our presentations, and we will begin with town employee recognition, Mr. Harry McCoy. Mr. Williams?
Ma'am? Oh! Sorry. Figured something else out. This is for an employee who's been here for 19 years of service. From 2005 to 2024. He'd still be here now if he didn't have a little bit of medical stuff going on. This is from the Board of Aldermen to appreciate Henry McCoy. Come on up, Henry.
Harry.
Harry. My bad. No, it's my fault. I wasn't supposed to. No, it is Harry. Thanks, sir.
I would like to present you with one of our account coins to thank you for your dedicated service to this community. And we wish you the best in everything that you do. So go take some time off and relax, because you deserve it. Thank you, sir. If we can do it in front of the flag. Ms. Hare, can we take a picture together? Who's first? Bernard? Say Thank you again, Mr. McCoy, for your dedicated service. He definitely deserves another round of applause. All right, we will now move on to 7B. And so we have a lot of presentations tonight, so I am asking that you use, be mindful of the time, so that we are not keeping everybody here all night. So I'm asking not to rush through your presentation, but remember brevity as we speak. We would like to invite Ms. Renee Robinson to the podium to discuss revenue and water department updates. I love that color you got. Okay,
set my 3 minutes.
Absolutely not.
Good evening, board, mayor, and Tommy, clerk, attorney. Okay, so I guess we're here to talk about the water bills. And I did a breakdown of the increases that have, transpired. So like, beginning in, 2011 up to 2023, the flat rate has increased by like $12.50. So a lot of customers don't know that you're billed a flat rate of $25.05 before you even use any water.
Can you say that number again?
$25.05. So that is without you using any water at all. And we, you know, a lot of customers don't know that they're billed at $25.05, you know, on top of their usage. So that does take up some, you know, when your bill is high, you know, you have to factor in that $25.05 is gonna be on that bill before you use any water at all. Then we do have, like, anytime a customer has like a high bill, we do, you know, when they call in, they tell us their bill is high. We go out, we check the meter, we monitor the meter. Sometimes they may have a bad meter. We change that meter and then we give them adjustment on the bills before that were due to that high meter. And then also bills are high because you may have like additional people in your home and that causes your bill to increase. And then during the holidays or when kids are out of school, your bill will also increase. So, any questions on that portion of the water bill?
Alderman Lockman?
Yes. Ms. Robinson, thanks for coming out tonight. Well, we're talking about the water usage. How many residential customers do we have in Spring Lake? And how many commercial customers do we have in
So
Spring
we
Lake?
have, I don't have a exact count, but we have around, I would say around 1,000 commercial, and then probably around like 3,700 residential.
And so with that, what are the typical complaints that you receive from the water department? And if it's probably high water bills, on average, about how many do you get a month on those? And how many are adjusted based upon a new meter being installed, or how many are in favor of the resident?
So in reference to like new meters being installed, I would say per month, maybe 3 or 4. And then in reference to like the high bills, like most times it's a leak on the customer side, and most times it's like the toilet, they need to replace the flapper. So we do do an adjustment for that once the flapper is fixed or the issue is repaired.
And so how many customer complaints do you receive on a month?
On a month, let's see, we service over 4,000 customers, and on a month, I'd say maybe, oh my God, less than 50.
And so with the, you were saying that change out the meters, is that from the analog to the digital, or is that a analog to analog, and which is more effective, and what's their life cycle?
So we're, right now, we're trying to replace all the meters with the digital meters, and they are they say up to like 10 years. But we've seen a lot that have gone way past that, but when they reach like 1 million gallons is when we see they start to, you know, malfunction. So we try to go ahead and get those changed out.
And just as you alluded there, I know my water bill has went up since the increase took place, and it seemed to have went up significantly, at least for me. But I've got a neighbor that's come to me several times. He said his water bill is typically $200 a month, and then it was spiked up to $400. There was no change in personnel. It was the same people. He's had a plumber come out and take a look, and then his bill would go back down to 200. So his would fluctuate from 200 to 400, back to 200. So it was constantly all over the place.
So if they come in and address that to us, we will definitely, you know, monitor their meter to see if we can figure out what's going on. But a lot of times, you know, people have leaks and they're not aware of that and they don't say anything until it gets really bad. So like if you have a toilet where the flapper is sticking, your bill sometimes will go up and come down until you get that fixed. But anytime, you know, someone's bill is high, we recommend they come in and speak to us.
You have some sort of alert that somebody has a abnormal amount of usage.
So, yeah, so when the guys go out and read their meters, they bring those sheets back in. I look through those sheets and I see, like, if someone has higher than normal usage, we'll leave them a door hanger to check their home for a possible leak.
Okay. And I'm gonna say another one for the end. Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you. Hey, I'm Ms. Renee. Well, first of all, I know about that flapper, because mine would get caught and then fix itself, and I didn't realize that was going on until I got a water bill, so I know exactly what happens with that. But my question is, do we have any clue how much, I know we pay Hornet and PWC for water. Do we know what percentage we bill versus what percentage we take in? I know we have the minus possible usage for fires, but do we know if we have what percentage we're losing?
So we probably do, and that would be like something Tim or the finance department would answer, because I don't see like the bills that come in.
Okay, all right, that's my information, thank you.
Alderman Claudius.
Do you know, how you doing, Ms. Robinson?
Hello.
I know you get nothing but complaints all the time
Oh,
in our water department. So thanks for coming out here tonight to help us understand a little bit, okay?
No problem.
And also our residents. Now, when it comes to the collection side of what's owed to the town and water bills, because residents either get shut off, they move away, those kind of things, where money is still owed to the town, what is your understanding, or what is the process the town has to collect those funds?
Okay, so we, after like 60 to 90 days, we will send them a letter regarding debt set off. Then they have 30 days where they can either pay us. If they don't pay us, then they go into debt set off and they'll collect on your North Carolina state taxes. So then, once these people are put in debt set off, I guess what you're alluding to is why we have such a big balance on our books. We have not written off any debt since 2010. So you have like from 2010 up to present of debt that needs to be written off.
Okay, since 2010. And is that the amount that you have here for nearly $500,000?
Okay, yeah, so that's what's sitting in debt set off.
Okay.
So that's not the amount, I think the amount that needs to be written off is like over $1 million.
Okay, that's the number we were given last month. So But more of that seemed like it was a recent buildup of,
No, not at all.
okay, so,
Yeah.
so, but we were also told that since 2022, that we hadn't had these issues. Is that your understanding?
Code debt?
Debt set-offs.
Oh,
So is your understanding that even since 2011 to today, that there have not been debt set-offs?
there's been debt set-offs. There hasn't been any write-offs.
Okay. So when we send for debt set-offs, we're not sending them to a collection agency, is that correct?
Right, they're just going to the, North Carolina Debt Set-Off Program.
Okay, and that's where the taxes are charged to, but typically, utility bills that are in collections go to a customer's credit report, and that helps entice payback also.
Right.
So is the program we're supposed to be in, but we're not really in with the North Carolina, is that a better program overall if we had been actively doing it?
I think, because we used to use, so we still use debt set-off. We also used online collections, but that stopped in like 2017, 18. And with online collections, you would put in the debt, they would collect on it and then charge us like a percentage for a commission. So, I think if we can get back on that and debt set-off, then we will be able to collect more money, because with debt set-off, you're just collecting if they file North Carolina state taxes.
And then get a return?
Right,
Okay.
right.
It is only, we only get the money if they are entitled to a refund?
Right.
Not if they owe. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay,
That's right.
so we haven't been doing that, and in 2017, you're saying we stopped the online collection side, of it, where if they collect anything, they're gonna keep a portion, and then we're gonna get whatever's left over.
Right.
So either one is still better than getting
Getting
nothing.
nothing, it is.
But why do you, what's your recollection of why we stopped doing the
We stopped, well, I was told because we were like paying out.
It's still too much.
Right.
Okay, but it's still better than what
It
we're
is,
getting
it
now.
is, it is.
Okay, so is that a process we can kick back in?
We can.
Okay, does that go through you or through finance?
I would have to
Figure
consult
that
with them to see, we just need to get together and figure out.
Were you this revenue supervisor at that time,
In
in
17?
2017?
No, 18.
Okay. 18 is when you took over? Okay. All right. I'm not trying to make it seem like it's your fault, but since you took over. But I'm sorry you're getting beat up. All right, well, that was the gist of what I wanted to ask, was get an understanding of how we can correct this ship on the revenue side of it with $1 million,
Right.
that's sitting there on the books.
And then like, just to explain, like with, the current collection, so I think you were given a balance, I don't know, like $200,000. And in that balance, it's like, we have water bills that are due. So if you're running that report before the 18, that's everybody's water bill.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah,
That
So-
makes sense.
yeah. All right. Thank you.
Alderman Chadwick?
Oh, I had some of the same concerns as, Mr. Palacios, and, they have already been addressed, but only other things that I wanna ask is, when they were asking me about the tiers, how do I decide, how much water usage in the rate?
So there's 4 tiers. Okay, so the flat rate is $25.05, that's on the top. And then the tiers, the first tier, they bill you for 1 gallon up to 3,000 gallons of water. The second tier is from 3,001 gallons to 6,000 gallons of water. Tier 3 is 6,001 gallons up to 9,000 gallons. And then tier 4 is anything over 9,000 gallons. And I, like, on the information that I gave you, I broke that down, and then I also, I think it's on the second page, I, put everybody's current bill and I broke it down to how it's calculated.
Was that it? This is,
Oh,
Alderman Lockwood?
The second.
Yeah, this is my.
So if we could just please get some, new software.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we are working on
Absolutely. Alderman Lockwood?
So, Ms. Robinson, kind of going back to this $1.17 million that we were briefed by the LGC. And they told us that 900 of that was on past due collections, that, as you are stating now, can go back to 2010. Is that correct?
It's a combination from 2010 up to current day.
Okay, and that the 213,000 is for active customers that we currently are serving, that are past due by how many days?
So that balance includes customers that are not past due.
Okay,
They're actually, it says current under that column, so they actually, their water bills are sitting in the system. So they have until the 18th to make those payments. So once the 18th comes, that balance will, most likely, most of it will go away.
okay. So are we looking at ways on those that are past due back from 2010 to 2022 to
So-
do any sort of collection to get that? I hear the debt set off, I hear the last write-off was in 2010. Are we looking to update our policies?
Well, I'm just the revenue supervisor, so I can't do any write-offs. So, I mean, I will have a conversation with, the finance department and maybe we can all come to, some type of understanding, a new policy, procedure to, get the money collected.
Because this is taxpayer dollars.
Right.
And they received a service, and so, it's doing the honorable thing.
Understand?
Are there any other questions or comments from the board? Mr. Knight, do you have anything else for us? Awesome. Well, thank you so
All
much.
right, thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Thank you. And I really hope that this helps answer some questions for the community. And I just want to reiterate, you said if you are seeing a spike in your bill, please do not hesitate to come to the water department and address those questions. Hey, we have the whole water department here. How you doing today? All right, we are going to carry on to our next presentation, and that will be our code enforcement update. Mr. Derrick?
Hello, everyone. Good to see you all again.
Good evening.
Thank you, sir, for kind words.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so as you can see, we've opened up a lot of cases this past couple months. That's the first page here of the report. If there's any questions of any of those properties, please don't hesitate to ask. Where you see 1301 Rami Street, that's actually Pope Lane's trailer park, mobile home park. I'm working with the property manager there. Of course, it's another property that's owned by someone that doesn't live here, out of state. So the property manager actually got in contact with me, and we're working together on trying to get all those properties abated. It's a lot out there. It's a lot out there. One of them's burnt. That's going to be a lengthy process, but she's actually willing to work hard on trying to get that abated as well. 30 new cases open. 10 cases have been abated in the past month. There's going to be multiple properties that will be receiving notice of hearing this month. We've got a lot of the older cases, and they will be scheduled starting on the 26th of this month. First one is going to be 640 Goodyear Drive. That's going to be February 26th at 11 a.m. That's one of the ones we've had a lot of complaints about as far as junk vehicles. I'm sorry. March. Yes. I wrote down the wrong thing here. I'm sorry. Yes, of March. Has anybody rode by 206 Cecil lately? Okay, if you can see that there's been a lot more cleanup over there. I actually met with the property, with a tenant, the property owner I believe lives in Florida. I met with the tenant there, a couple weeks ago. They did not show up for the hearing, posted a final letter, gave them, the time to get it done. Met with them over there and went through every bit of the property, showed them exactly what needed to be taken care of and things like that. They've been steadily working on it. There are some signs out there. She didn't like that. She actually pulled them up, and I let her know that they gotta go back, but she put them back. 1589 North Bragg Boulevard, I did have a hearing with the, not the property owner per se, but, the, gentleman attempting to sell the property. That property is under contract. It's supposed to finalize in June. They have every intention of going through the process of having that building demolished, along with the two, adjacent residential structures that are beside of it as well. They actually own every bit of that. They did go out there and mow it, cleaned it up, boarded up the windows, cleaned up a lot of the stuff out there, so which put them in compliance for the minimum housing. So hopefully the sale goes through and we get it torn down. 206 Cecil, I mentioned that one. So we've had a lot of trouble here lately. I've been getting a couple new contractors that cut grass. So we've had, for the past few months, we've had several that's been turned over to the city for abatement. We've had a lot of not going to get quotes, and one person wanting to charge us for quotes. And we finally had only one company out of about 5 to 7 companies that we sent things to actually get back with us with a quote for all of our properties that we have. We stressed to them that, hey, we need a quote for everything. They finally got back, that purchase order's been done, so hopefully, you know, for the next little bit, we can get those cut. If you look down, do I need to move this? Let's see.
Yeah.
Is it doing on its own? Okay, if you look at 212 Lecoq Street, 204, 207 Green Street, 1602 Crescent Drive, 117 Crispin, and 605 Freddie Court are the ones that we've gotten quotes on so far to have taken care of. Liberty Estates. So I met with the property owner there. I think he inherited this property from his grandfather. He is now, if you ride around there now, you'll actually see some heavy equipment there. He's got a Bobcat, dump truck, things like that. That process is, he's done a little bit, but there's a lot to go. He's got a lot down there, and he knows that he's in violation and what needs to be done on the property. Other than that, that's all I have as far as my report. Do I have any questions or anything about any properties that are anyone's concerned?
Again, thank you for all the hard work that you guys have been continuously putting in.
Yes, ma'am.
It is not going unnoticed. I just want to make sure that we reiterate how much we appreciate you guys coming in and you know, giving our community the nudge they need to start getting things done properly.
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you. Alderman Palacios?
Hey, Mr. May, so thank you for being here today. Thank you for going to the appearance committee meeting last month and sharing some insight there. So you're here 3 days a week, working for the town, and if residents or business owners have concerns about property that could be violating some kind of ordinance, then let our town know. They'll get the information to Mr. Mabe and his company so that he can start working on that, making sure there's any violations and getting those things addressed. And you know, one of the things we probably need to be looking at is for vacant buildings, having an ordinance in place to regulate peeling paint off of some of these old dilapidated buildings. You know, even controlling the material that goes up to board up windows and doors to make sure it's more uniform and more appealing, so that we don't have just a ghost town look feel, you know. And so I think that's something that's very important for us to look into. Mr. May can't fix ugly, but we can update our ordinances to account for some of these things. He can go and work on these junk vehicles. He can go and address the overgrowth that's going on in our town and even the minimum housing. 1589 North Bragg Boulevard, known as the old BP station there at the corner of Manchester Road and Bragg Boulevard, has been an eyesore for quite a long time. You had a sign out there for a while, and it was good just to see the sign.
I think someone took that sign.
Yeah. The sign fell over at one point, then it disappeared. Now, since that has been boarded up, you could tell it's been cleaned a little bit, but obviously the building is still ugly. So it is a good piece of progress that property could be going under contract and being sold. I know we've got some people interested in that property and some of the adjacent land with it. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for being here.
Alderman Lockwood?
Mr. Mayor, thank you, Mayor. Mr. Mayor, thank you very much, and for the audience out here, it begins with you. If your neighbors, or one, if you don't keep your yard up, you could have a visit by Mr. Mays. But two, if your neighbors aren't keeping up their area, please contact the town clerk. Sorry, Carl, I'm gonna put you out there. But contact the clerk so that she can get these addresses identified so Mr. Mays can go out there and address it. Dr. Dickerhoff, thank you very much. The appearance committee is another link in that chain to be able to address this. You all go out and pick the prettiest yard, well, mostly the prettiest yard, that's out there. Or sometimes you pick it a couple times, they don't get it. But that's another piece that's out there, is to ensure that we make our town, we're paying code enforcement to come out here and do this. So it begins with the residents, goes to the clerk, goes to you. Then at that point, and here's where I'd like for Mr. Maves to explain, that once he goes out there, the process is one, to educate the person and to try to get them into compliance so that they address the blight, the issue at hand. And at that point, they're given how much time, what's the follow-up, what procedures are taken next.
Okay, so our first letter that goes out is considered the first notice of violation. It's also a courtesy letter. There are certain situations where we can go straight to a hearing, but for town appeal, for our company, we like to send out the first notice of violation, and also states that it's a courtesy letter. It basically lets the property owner know that hey, you've got a problem with your property. We just want to let you know that we're going to give you, I normally give around 12 days. Typically it's 10 days. I give the 12 days for mail time because the mail's terrible. So it gives them, once it gets to them, hopefully they still have their 10 days. So that's the first notice. The second notice is a notice of hearing. It's where they come here, they meet with me, we establish a timeline that's suitable for the city, that allows them to get their property taken care of, what it's gonna take to get their property taken care of. After that, let's say they don't show up, that day they'll get a final letter. Final letter gives them a specific amount of time. If it's minimum housing, they typically get 30 days. If it's something like a junk vehicle, they typically get around 10 days. Once I do the final letter, then if it reaches the end limit, that's when I bring it before you. If it's minimum housing, it may be something that just simply can be fixed. It could be something as far as a demolition of the property. So if the city has to go through that process and actually take care of it themselves, then whatever that cost is, I would do a lien on the property. That's what I would do that personally, file it with the courthouse. Same thing with the other stuff. Hopefully if they do their taxes, you get your money back, or if the property is ever sold, you get your money back. If they show up, good. Hopefully they do, but a lot of times they don't. We would grant them a little bit of extension time, work with them. Hopefully, if they need any help, maybe give them a recommendation of somebody they can, if the town has a recommendation of someone that can help them. I try to help as many people as I can before I put the hammer down and basically say that, hey, time's up, we've got to take care of this. So that's our process. Just keep in mind, if you ever see anything on the report that has minimum housing, they automatically, state law, get 30 days. So minimum housing takes a little bit longer than your standard typical cases.
And so the one piece that I don't want to get overlooked You said that you sent out multiple bids for people to come out and look at these properties to bring them into code enforcement compliance.
Yeah, for overgrown lots. That's where we'd send out bids.
So for that out there, for the record, I would like for you all to know that if you've got anybody that cuts grass, that's a commercial type of business, you know, the town is hiring. You know, look to us for jobs that need to get done, place your bids in. If you get them, you've got an opportunity to make Spring Lake beautiful. Thank you,
Mayor Pro Tem?
I just wanna thank you, and, I don't think people understand, we didn't get into this overnight, and it's gonna take a while to get out of it. I appreciate the work you all are doing, and, you know, because the mayor and, Alderman Chadwick had a conversation with you at, one of our conferences in, I don't know where it was, City Vision with the North Carolina League, this is what brought you here. And, you all are doing an outstanding job. I appreciate it. I appreciate, you know, Dr. Dickerhoff wanting to, recognize, you know, the work and recognize the fact that you took the time after hours to come to that meeting, so thank you.
Yep, and right after I leave here, I get to go meet one of your citizens to go over some other stuff.
Thank you.
But I would like to say one last thing. So I get lots of complaints from whether it's citizens or if it's coming from you guys or if it's, you know, just someone calling in or coming by or things like that. If there are priority, you know, because I can only work so much in a month. If there are priorities, residents or commercial, whatever, that is number one on your list, please don't hesitate to send that my way. Because I have a lot of times, it'll come back, well, what about this one, or what about this one, or, you know, have a citizen call me and say, well, what about my property? And, you know, I have only so much I can keep on the book for 1 month. But if there are priorities that are 100% number one, need to be taken care of, please don't hesitate, send it my way, and I can focus more on that because I am proactive. I don't only take complaints, I'm out there riding around finding properties on my own. So if I'm finding all these properties and I'm adding and adding to the books, you know, if I don't have the exact priorities, you know, that the city really wants to focus on, you know, it may take a little bit longer than some may like to get it taken care of. So.
Is there anything else you have for us?
That's
Any
it.
other questions or comments from the board?
Just thank you.
Thank you again, we appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Me too. All right, we will have our next presentation from the Fayetteville Cumberland County Continuum of Care. Ms. Debbie Brown is the chair.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and Board of Aldermen. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you tonight. So the desired outcomes from this presentation are to share with you what the COC is, who we are, to explain the coordinated entry process, why that's important for our community, what HMIS is, and why this program is needed, and looking to future partnering opportunities. So under the Hearth Act of 2009, the entire community, rather than individual service providers, must demonstrate success in preventing and reducing homelessness. HUD requires that the COC provides a few things. Number one, a comprehensive response that ensures homelessness is prevented or abbreviated whenever possible, with the understanding that individuals have the right to self-determination. Two, provide funding for efforts to increase the rehousing of individuals and families who are homeless and decrease the trauma and dislocation caused by homelessness. And three, to establish a community-wide systems approach with interagency coordination to alleviate poverty. So many folks in our community may not know what the COC is or be able to define that. But the COC, or Continuum of Care, is a coalition of nonprofits, faith-based organizations, advocates, victim service providers, businesses, healthcare systems, school systems, higher education, affordable housing developers, law enforcement, and those with lived experience of homelessness that come together to organize and deliver housing and services to meet the specific needs of people who are homeless or at risk of being homeless. The Fayetteville-Cumberland County Continuum of Care on Homelessness, which I will refer to as the COC going forward, serves the main purpose of HUD, which is to operate a functional COC, implement a coordinated entry program, manage the HMIS system, strategically plan for the COC, and prepare for the annual applications of funds that are received from HUD. Our local COC began back in the 90s as the Cumberland County Continuum of Care Planning Council. This is when a couple of agencies within our community submitted the first application for funding to HUD. As of April 2018, the COC is a 501c3 nonprofit agency. The COC's mission, as you can see stated here for your review, we are about housing the homeless. We did a word cloud, as you can see, of a home for those agencies that are included in our COC. Please understand, this is not an all-inclusive. And neither is this gear, as we call it, for our COC. But this shows you some of the partnering agencies throughout the Cumberland County area that are dealing with our housing, our health care, mental health, life skills, veterans, education, etc. So the COC is comprised of a board of directors to include the chair, vice chair, secretary, treasurer, Fayetteville City and Cumberland County ex officios, and up to 10 members at large, with at least one member of the board being a current or formerly homeless person. Our COC has 5 committees that you can see below that have active members, or participants who join in the work for ending homelessness. The board of directors is elected by the active membership in September of each year, with the installation held in October, thus our calendar year being October 1 to September 30. Active members submit an application to the Governance Nominating Committee for a vacated seat. The Governance Nominating Committee then presents the slate to the board and the members before holding the vote. Voting is done by secret ballot. The candidate with at least 50% plus 1 vote takes the seat. Bylaws do indicate all standards that we use with that. So the COC Board of Directors, officers, and members at large are all volunteers. We have no paid staff for our 501c3 nonprofit. There is one HMIS data analyst position for our COC, and we'll be talking more about that, but that position is a paid position. So there are approximately 400 COCs in the nation. There are a total of 12 COCs in the state of North Carolina, with all of these except for one combined city and county entities. The North Carolina balance of state is comprised of 79 of the counties throughout the North Carolina. The remaining 11 COCs show which county and cities they represent. So Cumberland County Community Development is the HUD-approved collaborative applicant for our COC. As such, on behalf of the COC, they submit the COC project application and the COC consolidated application to HUD for funding for various projects throughout our community. Please understand that our COC represents the geographic area of Cumberland County, okay? The COC board and members have determined the following program and efforts were a top priority. This list shows you projects that were awarded funding for the 23 Notice of Funding Opportunity, or NOFA. The project grant cycles vary for each of these projects, and the one coordinated entry project that's required by HUD. These projects were submitted for funding to the North Carolina ESG, or Emergency Solution Grant Office. They are for street outreach, rapid rehousing efforts, domestic violence shelter. Let me pause to state to you so that we understand the funds that are pulled down from HUD. Those funds do not go through the 501c3 nonprofit, the FCCOC. What happens is that the COC offers the opportunity for agencies to apply for funding. and then there's an actual, contract between HUD and the agency that receives that. That funds doesn't come through our bank account, but that contract is with that agency and HUD. If awarded a grant, the agency will have that contract directly with HUD, meaning that none of the award funds go through our bank account, as I've stated. There is a contract between the two entities. So if you noticed, there are approximately $900,000 in our COC program grants and $131,000 in our ESG grants. So approximately $1 million that we pull down from HUD is spent on housing and providing beds for those homeless in our community. But we also need to understand that there is a shortage of housing throughout Cumberland County and throughout our nation. We understand all of that. Now, when I say affordable housing, I'm talking about for homeless individuals, they are 30% AMI. And so we're talking very low individuals as far as being able to afford housing, okay? So HUD requires that each year the COC do a pit count or a point in time count. It may be sheltered count or an unsheltered count, or both sheltered and unsheltered. Due to the pandemic, the COC only completed the sheltered count in January of 2021. HUD requires that we always do the pit count the 3rd week or 4th week of January. So when we do the 22 pit, there were 475 individuals found throughout Cumberland County. When we did the 2023 pit count, there were 474 individuals. We've done our pit count for 2024, but HUD has not confirmed those numbers for us, so we don't know what we have, but we're thinking that it's gonna hover around that same amount. But I do want to share with you that we do understand those numbers are not correct, and HUD knows that as well. As we all know, they're probably very much higher than that amount, okay? So Cumberland County Schools has to do their own homeless student population, and then they send that to HUD as well. So that's not including those individuals that are in our school system. These are just individuals that we know of that are not located within the school system. We still feel that our families are misrepresented because, like I said, we know that there's definitely more than 474 individuals throughout Cumberland County that are homeless, or especially those that are at risk of homeless as well. So housing the data collected for that pit count in our HMIS system, it's a local information technology system used to collect client data and provision of housing and services to homeless individuals and families and persons at risk of being homeless. Each COC is responsible for selecting an HMIS software solution that complies with HUD's data collection, management, and reporting standards. Our system is Service Point, and the company that we use is called MICA, or Michigan Coalition Against Homelessness. As mentioned, each year in January, the COC holds our point-in-time count, in which time the collected data is sent to HUD. We do also a housing inventory count, or HIC, as it's called from HUD. We have to also do a system performance measure. So basically the each COC throughout the nation is scored, and we're determined what we're weak in, what we're strong in. Monitoring of the administrator and the user agencies with our HMIS is done by our COC committee that's called the HMIS CE committee. Agency training opportunities keep these folks aware of updates from HUD and to provide annual renewal training. So coordinated entry. How does the COC coordinate homeless individuals as they traverse through the intricacies of services, shelter, and housing? So coordinated entry is a system used to streamline the process, ensuring that people can access housing assistance no matter where and how they show up, so that they do not have to rely on finding the right case manager or the right program to talk to in order to get assistance. This is done through that coordinated entry process, which was mandated by HUD for every COC in the nation and any project that is funded through our COC or ESG funds. HUD's rule defines coordinated entry as a centralized or coordinated process designed to coordinate program participant intake assessment and provision of referrals. So those homeless or at risk of becoming homeless may call our coordinated entry vanity line or North Carolina 211, and our vanity line is 844-401-HOPE. Hopefully you understood sort of why we chose that. It's the 401, and we had numbers of 4 in there because we know that 4 is meaning that we are for these individuals. So it's asked if any of you see any families that are in need, or if you have calls, that they contact that vanity line. What happens at that point is when they call either the vanity line or NC 211, which also refers them to our coordinated entry, those folks are done, they can call in or they can go to the Fayetteville Day Resource Center at 128 South King Street, where our coordinated entry are housed currently. But the folks come in, they're given, evaluated, if you will, ask some questions to find out if they were truly homeless, or is it maybe that they need rental assistance, utility assistance. If it is determined that they are indeed homeless, then we have what we use, or we assist them as they go through this. You can see our triage process that we use. Those folks will then be given what we call a VISPADAT. It rates them according to their health and social needs that they have. So let me give you an give you an example. A lived experienced person who has been assessed and has found that she is chronically homeless, has 3 children, has a major health challenge requiring significant levels of support, having been in and out of the emergency department. She would be prioritized higher because of a higher acuity number than that lived experienced person who has had a life event happen to him in which he has now found himself homeless, needing assistance to get back on his feet, but does not have the major health-related issues. So those clients that have to wait for shelter or housing are placed on what we call a by names list. Those folks are looking for shelter, then we try and find those shelter availabilities. However, if you will note, there are only 2 emergency shelters in Cumberland County. One is the Salvation Army, and then the other is the Cumberland County Care Family Violence Center for Domestic Violence. So Spring Lake has a nonprofit that is assisting those homeless or at-risk homeless, and that's called the Spring Lake Family Support Services, or the Kinsey House. CEO founder Deborah Hudson is someone that I'm sure you all have heard of and know. But they provide the following for those individuals here in the Spring Lake area that are going through a domestic violence situation. They assist youth ages 12 to 17. They provide laundry, mailboxes, hygiene kits, computer lab for resumes or to find jobs, and a clothing closet. They assist those who may need to find jobs or housing once the individual comes to them to share that they have that issue. They will be making a presentation this coming Wednesday to our COC member during our monthly member meeting at 10 o'clock. Both in-person meeting at 201 Anderson Street, Fayetteville, and a virtual meeting is how we generally do our meetings. But I would like to note, I'm not sure exactly how this happened, but Ms. Waltman's name has been misspelled as WOLTMANN, so I do apologize to her and to you folks for that error. So looking to the future, the COC would love to see how we might work closer with the town of Spring Lake to ensure, as our mission states, ending homelessness or making it rare, brief, and non-recurring. So what questions might you have?
Well, again, thank you so much for bringing us this information, which is very, very valuable. I have just one quick question. On the board of directors, you said it's comprised of members only from Fayetteville?
No, ma'am. It can be anybody in the geographic Cumberland County area.
But currently, it's comprised of only members from Fayetteville.
There are, I live in the Grace Creek area.
Okay.
Our treasurer lives in this area. No, excuse me, he lives in near the Methodist University area. Some of our board members are throughout the Cumberland County area. Some are, yes, one is the city council, the City Economic Community Development Chair, department head, and then the Cumberland County Development.
Alderwoman Thompson?
I have a question. So if they have someone that's here, since that Kinsey House Services Spring Lake, do they have to go through the COC in Cumberland County before they get help here? Or can they just go straight to the Kinsey House?
Could they go to here or to?
Yeah, if they need help, you said like homelessness, you know, I understand that you all in Fayetteville, but if, they need help, if someone's here in Spring Lake, do they have to go through you all in Fayetteville, or can they go straight here?
They can call that vanity line, or they can go to the Day Resource Center, either one. If they choose, like to say, to go to, the Spring Lake Family Services, they may do that. They will assist them in helping them get to coordinated entry.
Okay. Do you have a number? Can you put the number out for the house here in Spring Lake?
Yes, ma'am, for the coordinated entry, 844-401-HOPE. And I do have, these that have what the COC is, and then it has our number, that coordinated entry number.
But just for clarity, that is not the Kinsey House's number. You were asking specifically.
Right, I was asking for the Kinsey House.
So that is not the Kinsey House
You
number.
don't have that, okay.
I can get that for you though.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you so much, for this presentation. My question is, was that point in time done in every part of the county?
It's done throughout the nation, yes, ma'am.
And
And it is done throughout the entire geographic of Cumberland County.
Right, so there was a point in time done in like Wade, Spring Lake, everywhere, right?
During, that one day, it's a 24-hour period that HUD requires us to do that. We go throughout the county to include Spring Lake, yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I think part of the partnership that we are looking for is that you may have, especially your law enforcement agents, they're probably gonna have a better understanding of where the homeless are located, maybe more so than we do at times. We do have a lot of street outreach folks that are coming throughout the geographic area, but I think that's the best way we can help, each other, is to find out where they are so that we can service, provide those services.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions from the board? Well, thank you so much, Ms. Debbie. I appreciate it. I will definitely be in touch. I'll make sure our manager can try and work with our police force to get you some accurate information on the location of our homeless population. Thank you. I am looking for Ms. Claudia. I don't see her. Was there anyone in representation for the Faith ID Action Initiative? Okay, we will move on to 7F, our Health Department Service, Ms. Samantha Tillman, MPH Public Health Educator 3, Health Education Division, Department of Health, Department of Public Health.
Hi, as you said, I'm Samantha Tillman, and I am in the Health Education Division of the Public Health Department. I'm a health educator, specifically the reproductive health educator. And basically, I just wanted to come and let you all know, as well as everyone else that is here, some of the services that we have, because we understand that, you know, the Public Health Department is in Fayetteville, but Spring Lake is still a part of Cumberland County. And we understand that, that the residents of Spring Lake just might not know everything that we have going on at the health department. And so I just kind of wanted to go over some of the things that we do. So at the Public Health Department, some of the services that we have: family planning, women's health, child health, WIC. We do have a WIC office in Spring Lake as well. STI, HIV testing, pharmacy services. So if you come to one of our clinics and you need a prescription, that prescription is sent right to our on-campus pharmacy, and you can get that medication before you leave and go back home. Immunizations, teen wellness, dental health, environmental health. So we have a ton of services. Most insurance, including Medicaid, is accepted. If you are uninsured, we do services on a sliding scale. So we really try to make sure that everybody in the county can come and see us for whatever they need. If you need something and we don't have it and we cannot provide it for you, we will make sure you know where to go to get that service. Within health education, as I said, I am from the health education division. So specifically, we have a reproductive health educator, which is me, mental health and substance use, health promotions and chronic diseases, communicable diseases, maternal and child health, barbershop health advocate program. So that's just a health educator who works with some of our local barbershops to help them be an advocate for their clients. And then we also have something called a baby store, which is an incentive program for pregnant people and children. Basically, if you come to your appointments, you get baby bucks, and those baby bucks are spent in our store. We have brand new clothing, hygiene products for infants, diapers, car seats, all that stuff. And we do have certified car seat technicians who can help you install it in your car before you leave. One of our newest services that is super important for Spring Lake is Uber Health. So, you know, there's no public transportation in Spring Lake, and so we have Uber Health. So it's basically like a free Uber service to the health department. So all you have to do is call our main number, which is on this paper, 433-3600. And if you have an appointment at the health department, an Uber will come and pick you up, take you to your appointment, and then take you back home. And it's completely free. There's nothing that comes out of your pocket. All you have to do is just make sure you make that appointment ahead of time. We do have late clinic hours the second Tuesday of every month. So the clinic is open until 7 p.m. Uber Health is still available for those late clinic hours. Okay. Some other things that I wanted to hit on that the health department has. The first one is the Connected Care program. So this is a collaborative project between the Public Health Department and DSS, and it focuses on addressing social determinants of health. So any patient or client or resident who's having some food insecurity, housing instability, they don't know what to do about some really needed medical care that they cannot afford. This program basically gets a team together to help these clients. And I do have some forms I can give you about that. So if you have any questions about that, there's the email address, connectedcareprogram@cumberlandcountync.gov. We also have something called the Cumberland County Breastfeeding Coalition. So the mission of this coalition is to promote, protect, and support breastfeeding through the cooperative efforts of organizations in Cumberland County. So this is a coalition where it's mostly housed at the health department, but it is a collaborative effort throughout the county. So we do have some doulas that are on the coalition. We do have a couple of individuals who are just residents of the county, but they feel very strongly about breastfeeding. And so it's basically just our way of trying to get the residents of Cumberland County to understand that, you know, what breastfeeding is, what kind of resources there are, lactation services if you're having trouble with breastfeeding. So we just kind of try to get all of that together. Anyone in Cumberland County can join this coalition. We have hybrid meetings, so you do not have to come to the health department to come to these meetings. And if you have any questions about that, you can contact Deira Anderson, and I have her email address, deanderson@cumberlandcountync.gov. The next is the Teen Wellness Task Force. So the purpose of the task force is to improve the health and well-being of teens across Cumberland County, raise community awareness of the issues affecting teen populations, and develop strategies to address high priority unmet needs. Again, just like the coalition, this task force is open to all members of Cumberland County, including teens. So pretty much anyone who feels like they want to help us in providing teens with the things that they need. So whether that be just medical care or emotional needs, things like that. If you have any questions about that, you can contact me, stillman@cumberlandcountync.gov. The firearm safety team, so this is a new group that we are starting in the county. So in Cumberland County, we have a lot of gun violence, and so basically we started this to try to get those numbers down, especially when it comes to gun violence experienced by children. So this team is 100% apolitical. So this is only about education, safety, you know, how to get some like gun locks to residents in the county, understanding the importance of locking up your firearms, keeping ammunition separate from the firearm. So this is another thing that is open to everyone in the county. We do have some veteran services that are a part of our team. So if you're interested in that, I do have a contact. It's for Leah Roan, which is lroan@cumberlandcountync.gov. And then I just wanted to go over a few things that we have coming up in the county. So the first event is Vax Your Pet, Vax Yourself. So this is an event that we do twice a year at the health department. It's going to be Saturday, April 13th. It'll be $5 rabies vaccines for all your dogs and cats. And then we're going to be doing some free immunizations for adults and kids. So if your kid still needs some immunizations for school, or you have a little one that's going to be starting kindergarten next year and you want to go ahead and get a jump on those immunizations, come on down. It'll be free vaccinations. And there's also going to be a lot of community vendors, a lot of raffling going on, so there's going to be a lot of stuff. And then the last two events on here are called Empower Her and Empower Him at Navigating Adolescence with Confidence. So these are going to be free events for middle school youth, middle school girls and boys, basically talking about puberty, communication, goal setting, you know, and for the parents, we know that sometimes talking about puberty can be difficult, so going over how to communicate with your kid about that kind of stuff. Again, it is going to be free, and it's going to be at the G.B. Myers Rec Center in Fayetteville, which is at 1018 Rochester Drive. So those are just some of the things. Please visit our website. It'll have everything we've got going on there. And I am the liaison with the Health Education Division to Spring Lake, so I am going to give some of my business cards. If you ever have any questions about what's going on at the health department, any questions about resources, please give me a call, email me, and I'll get you whatever you need. Okay? Any questions before I pass this stuff out?
Again, thank you so much for bringing us this information. This is extremely important information. I am really excited about that Uber Health.
Yes, yeah, we are too.
For serving our community. I want to echo the sentiments of Henry Ponder. And of course, I know this is probably above your pay grade, but we do need to start seeing more Cumberland County resources outside of Fayetteville.
Yes.
Into our smaller municipalities, especially here in Spring Lake. We have a totally underutilized resource center that's owned by the county. Again, I know this is not something that you can address, but we would love to see more events, the ones that you can bring to our town in person, please do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that our Connected Care program is actually housed in Spring Lake, so it's not housed at the health department. But no, that is definitely something that I know that Dr. Green, our health director, and our deputy health director, Tamara Morris, we have definitely talked about that, especially in health education. We have tried to figure out how to get to our smaller municipalities because things tend to be centered on Fayetteville so much. And so we are trying to make plans to visit our other towns in the county.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions, comments?
Mayor Pro
As the mayor said, I know this is outside of your pay grade, but I do know when I first moved here in 2000, we had a pretty much full service social services department. We had the WIC, and we also had a satellite health department. It would be wonderful, and the building's still there. So it would be really great to bring that back. The only thing you're needing pretty much is the staff and the equipment, which is, you know, I don't think that's, there's probably still some ARPA money, to be honest with you. I heard about 15 million, so, yeah, it would be great to bring that back here to Spring Lake. The Uber it's an option, but again, you know, that's something that was here. I don't know why it left, but I feel like it should, and you know, if you would convey that to Dr. Green.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I do know as far as staff goes, we have some issue with finding fully qualified staff to fill all of our vacant positions at the health department. But, I mean, that's definitely something I will bring to Dr. Green. She has a very easy little tap into her office, so, yeah, I will definitely bring that up. Like I said, since Spring Lake is my municipality, I definitely want her to know how the town feels and what the town needs.
Well, thank you for giving us somebody to hold accountable.
Yes, yeah.
And we're gonna be the loudest ones too.
Oh, yeah, I was told that Spring Lake can be loud.
Good. We want you to hear us.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions from the board?
No.
Well, thank you so much, Ms.
Oh, yeah,
Davis. We really
absolutely, and I'll
appreciate
bring
it.
you, some business cards, and then,
If you want, you can just leave them with the clerk.
okay, perfect.
Thank you.
This is the connected care program referral.
Can I ask that you leave a few of those cards and flyers on that table back there, if anyone in our community would like to give it?
Thank you.
I got y'all. All right, well, we will continue on with our final presentation of the evening. Mr. Patrick Morrison about the Pretty House. And that's PRIVDY, not PRETY.
Awesome,
cool.
So. And spiffy tonight.
Thank you, I did clean up. Yeah. So, Mayor, Board of Aldermen, everyone in the town, committee, everybody that's watching, we had a vision. We seen something that was once ugly, and we are in the process of beautifying it.
I'm sorry, we can't hear your conversations up here. Excuse me. Sidebar conversations are loud. We can hear you up here. Sorry. Please, Mr. Morrison.
Cool. All right. So, a year ago, my wife and I, we bought, for those of you that don't know it, the Pretty House on Main Street. It's a 2-story white house. It's been used as a church since the mid-'80s. We have chosen to beautify it and bring something valuable and preserve this for hopefully ever. So it is the Pretty House. It's a symbol of heritage in Spring Lake, North Carolina. And this is a picture from the 20s. So it's located at 103 North Main Street. The Pretty House stands as a beacon of Spring Lake's heritage. It was constructed in the early 1920s by Arthur Esco Pretty, and it symbolizes the town's rich heritage and culture. Arthur Pretty's contribution as a merchant, pioneer, and philanthropist played a pivotal role in shaping the town's initial development. It's making the Pretty House a cherished landmark worth preserving for future generations. All right, so this is Arthur Pretty in his young years and his older years. So the Pretty House is the oldest standing structure on Main Street. It was built by Arthur Esco Pretty, a key figure in Spring Lake's development. His ventures, including the first service station and a Trailways bus station, significantly contributed to the town's growth and community spirit. The Spring Lake the Spring Lake service station and the Pretty family home in this picture, it was built in the 20s. The original service station was later repurposed as the Trailways bus station, a restaurant, and a shoe store. There also might have been a barber there also. So the Pretty House, it showcases the unique architectural features that were rather uncommon in the area, representing the innovative spirit of Arthur Pretty. Its design and construction reflect the early 20th century architectural trends. It was making it a significant piece of Spring Lake's built heritage. So here's a couple pictures of what it looked like back then. Arthur Pretty's legacy extends beyond his entrepreneurial spirit to his impact on the community's heritage. Preserving the Pretty House not only honors his contributions, but also promotes investment and development in the Main Street Historic District, ensuring its history is remembered and valued by future generations. So I also have the granddaughter of Arthur Pretty and Fanny Black, Miss Mary Ellen, right? Yeah. So she blessed us with her presence. So another tie to this piece of property is Lillian Black. She was the sister of Fanny, which was Arthur's wife. So, but does anyone have any questions?
Well, again, I am super excited about this project. I am so glad that you are bringing this before the board so that we can preserve our culture here in Spring Lake, with the Pretty House being one of our oldest standing buildings. This is something that deserves special designation, special recognition, so that we can keep this legacy alive. The Pretty family has a rich, rich history that even thrives today. Alderman Lackman is a member of one of the church that used to be in the Pretty House. So it's been so many different things over the years, and we're excited to see what you are going to do with the Pretty House and making it prettier, as in PRETTY. So thank you again for doing this. Thank you for doing all this research. Patrick is being really modest tonight about the amount of information and research that he's done digging through historical documents in reference to the property. Hours long. If you would like to, please come up.
Patrick asked me if I wanted to speak, and I really don't, because
Approach the podium just so we can have, it can be heard online as well.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'll come over here with Patrick. I think Patrick knows more about my grandfather than I do, because he's done so much research. My grandfather was a wonderful man. He was like in the picture where he was older. That's what I remember. Because the young picture of him was in Ohio. He's from Ohio, and he liked to hunt, and that's how he ended up down here. He liked to hunt. He was maybe 20 years older than my grandmother, who, as Patrick said, was the sister of Lillian Black. So Lillian Black was my great aunt. Spring Lake's just always been a special place to me. My father retired from the Air Force. He met my mother here when he was in the Air Force. Then he retired here and worked at the post office here in Spring Lake. So Spring Lake has always been just really special for our family. I'm the only one of the grandchildren who actually still lives here. I work for the Cumberland County School System and have since 1976. Started out at Spring Lake Junior High in 1976 as a teacher. So Spring Lake's just really, really special to me. So Patrick, honestly, like I said, he knows more about my grandfather than I do. He's told me things that I didn't know. So this has been really, really exciting for me, and I appreciate the fact that you're allowing him to present to you, because this is just very, very special. So thank you so much, Patrick.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Ma'am?
Oh, what was your name when you were in Spring Lake?
Mary Ellen. My last name is Wright. It was Bell. My mother was a Pretty.
No, I was saying when you were teaching at Spring Lake Junior High.
Bryant.
Oh, okay.
How long were you there?
I started in 1976 and worked there through 1981. I started out as a home ec teacher, and then I was a school counselor. And now I'm a school counselor at, and then I went to Max Abbott, and now I'm at Jack Britt High School. Old and part-time, but yeah.
So you were there with Mr. Blackwell?
Mr. Blackwell hired me, he sure did, yeah.
Yeah, I got there in '76.
Okay.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments from the board?
Okay, so I'd like to add one more thing. Anyone that has any information about the Pretties, the house, anything that they can contribute to the history of Spring Lake, and specifically that, anything that ties in with the Pretties, I would dearly love to, to get that information and we can add it in. And when we get the house renovated, hopefully we're going to be opening it up in the spring, early summer. And there's a lot to follow with that, and we're looking to do the the dedication ceremony for the property. And can I have them get it with you? If anybody has any information, pictures they want to add, you can get it with Carly at Spring Lake, and she can pass you on to me. I just don't have contact information there. Or you can reach me at the motorcycle shop back behind the ABC store. I'm there.
Awesome.
Good, any questions? Awesome.
Well, thank you so much.
very much.
Thank you. Well, since we are already on the topic of the Pretty House, I'm going to go ahead and do agenda item 8B, which is 2024, the resolution of the Town of Spring Lake Board of Aldermen declaring the Pretty House on Main Street a house of historical and cultural significance. So that's why we did this presentation, to show you the rich, and it's over 100 years old. We're about just 102?
1922.
102 years old structure that Mr. Morris and his family are preserving. So I'm honored to entertain a motion to declare the Pretty House a house of historical and cultural significance. Mayor Pro Tem.
So moved.
Alderman Lockman?
Patrick, I second that.
Is there any discussion? Alderman Palacios.
Yeah, I had a question. Patrick, when did you take over that property?
We bought it 1 year ago. One year ago next week, actually.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, I did have a question though about, what's the, declaring it, historical significance? That, we want you to stay there forever and continue to work on it.
Yes.
How, is that a lifetime? Okay, so we're claiming it historical significance for the rest of its existence.
Yes.
Okay. And does that impact any of the properties around it? Or is it just the property itself?
Well, with us establishing that as a site of historical significance, it kind of sets the groundwork for the future historic district in Spring Lake.
Okay.
Which that's in the works down the road, establishing Main Street, because that was the original historic district for Spring Lake. From what I have learned, that intersection right there where the Pretty House is, that was the epicenter of Spring Lake. Everything began right there because Arthur started the first service station right there. Everything started building up around that. And it appears that he had probably the first business in Spring Lake, the service station, and because Fort Bragg, Camp Bragg at that time, wouldn't have existed without the contribution from Manchester Township, which later becomes Spring Lake, because they chose this area for the artillery training range. And one of the reasons that they chose it was the big expanse of land and infrastructure. We had sewer, water, and a population here.
So doing this, though, to answer the question, does not directly impact the residents around it unless in the future we declare it a historical district. Okay.
Yes, I believe you're
all right. And okay, I think that
now when that's declared a historical district, okay,
it's going to have a lot of regulation for the other property owners if something like that happened.
If there are houses that are declared historical properties, yeah, there would be some, but there's only a few properties down there that are still in their original condition, and like the little blue house, a couple houses over, that house is really nice.
We're not there yet.
Right, we're not there yet.
Thank you.
Yes.
Awesome. I told you guys he had a whole lot of information, being very modest. So, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries unanimously, and the Pretty House will now be declared a house of historical and cultural significance.
Outstanding.
Thank you, Patrick. This has been a long journey. I've learned so much since I've taken over or since ownership of that property. I've learned so much about the Pretty House, and it's very, very interesting history. So I encourage you to take a few minutes and pick Patrick's brain about our newly added House of Historical and Cultural Significance. So now we'll move on to 8A, 2024-6 resolution of the Town of Spring Lake Board of Aldermen authorizing the acceptance of donated LDH hoses. Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. This resolution is for the Cumberland County Fire Chiefs Association. We put a little thing in, it's like a grant, and they authorized us to be able to do this, which gave us 10 sets of hose, 5-inch hose for the back of the trucks, which saved us about $8,100. So we just need to get your approval if you'll accept this, and we can put it on the trucks.
Well, we absolutely like free and saving money, so I'll now entertain a motion. Alderman Lockman?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we accept this $8,100 worth of hoses so we can utilize here in Spring Lake.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, and I would like to second that motion and express gratitude to the Cumberland County Firefighters Association.
Any discussion? Alderman Palacios.
Thank you, Mayor. So the Next page is a receipt showing the total due, $8,100, paid in full under that, and this was a donation, is that clear?
That's correct.
Okay. Is there anything saying that this was a donation, the town did not have to actually pay this, other than the resolution itself?
I probably do, easy one, I can get you a receipt, but they bought it for every fire department.
They helped everybody out.
They have everybody,
Thank you.
but that's easy.
All right. All in favor? Aye. Hearing that unanimously, the motion carries to approve, the donated LDH hoses. Can I ask, what is LDH?
It's for your, the length, that's real, the 5-inch hose we always see on the back of there.
Mhm.
That's what it's for.
Low density.
Yeah. Oh, I think you're describing what it is, big hose.
The ones that you guys stretch out the back and run through, I have to make sure I drive around them when they're testing the hose. Awesome. Okay. 8C, now we'll discuss our fire department and police department pay. Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Mayor, Board. One of the things that Chief Spellman was working on with me and also with the command staff back there, we had a meeting the other night that, it's more like a, retention, I wanna call it retention pay hike, for PD. That kind of gets us closer to the people around us. We did a lot of, we talked about doing a, a big survey and find out, but they did it on themselves, which was really good, which helped us a lot. I know we had a long conversation Friday when I talked to everybody about what it would do, how it would help retain a lot of the people we have here now, at least a good start, and then maybe bring some more people in. And that's one of the biggest things we're having with PD now. So on that end, I would like to get your blessing to be able to move forward with this retention pay plan. And for fire, it's just to get your blessing to get rid of sleep time that you charge us. You charge the sleep time for the firefighters. And it's really not needed anymore. That would just change how they get paid. And it won't affect the pay of this cycle right now as we're in, because they have enough of lap salaries to do that.
So again, just for clarity, we're asking for an increase in pay for our police department.
That's correct.
Do we have a number, an amount that we're looking to, or a percentage that we're looking to increase for this?
It's 20%.
20% increase for our police department, and for our fire departments. What's happening right now is our fire department stays the night when they're on shift. However, the town deducts time or money from them when they're on sleep time. That's what we call sleep time. We as the board have the option to allow them to keep the money for their sleep time, and this would be in lieu of doing immediate raises, because I don't believe we can sustain that at the moment, but we can stop charging them for their sleep time, and that would add to their pay.
That's correct, yeah, because when you take away, it takes away some of the time they get for overtime and everything, and they started getting this overtime back, and then that will help them. So, it would look like raises for them, but again, it's still money we have in our lap salaries, from our lap salaries.
And the raise is sustainable for both departments?
It is.
And will there be any impact to our budget?
Not for the current budget, no. Next year, PD will probably not be affected, because I don't think they'll have their people filled up by then. With me and Deborah Max doing the numbers on that, if it does, it'd be very minimal. And fire.
Or excuse me, Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you. Sleep time, let me start with the easy one. Paying them for their sleep time is an industry standard, right?
It is. It's up there. The FSLA say that you're allowed to do that, but it's really fell apart. Hardly anybody does that anymore. Just because of trying to track it is really a nightmare. Because anytime they get up, we have to start charging the town back for that. So the sleep time goes from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. And if there's a break in any of that time, you get time back. Now, we have to track every bit of that and turn that in. But if it falls between 1 and 3, you're not getting 5 hours of consecutive sleep. So then they get paid the whole 24. So they've already done some of this anyway, so it's not what, I mean, I don't think it'd be that much of a change, but we'll see. I'll get the total number for you. But so that's what it is. If we just take that out, it would take, it's probably a lot of extra paperwork that's really unneeded for one, because most of the time the guys are getting up 2 or 3 times anyway. Now, the problem is that they have a call at 11 and 12, but they go to sleep at 1, then you still deduct on that sleep time from them, deducting besides the 2 little hours that they run or whatever. So it's kind of an unnecessary need for this, because the guys are getting up and down the time that they, you're not getting good sleep if you're doing that anyway. I mean, you're working, so they understand that, but that's kind of what it breaks down to.
And, so we have the money in the budget for the 20% for police department.
That is correct.
And then for the 24-25 budget, are we going to adjust our appendix A?
We will, all, yes, ma'am.
Changes? Will we need to?
Yes, ma'am. They will be readjusted for the starting pay, because the starting pay will change to match that.
All right, okay, thank you.
Saying I'm about to her mayor for them. Alderwoman Chadwick?
I just want to get more clarity on the sleep time, and thank you for that, because now I'm more clear on that, but I just want to say that I am an advocate for the fire department receiving a 20% increase. I think it's necessary for the town,
That's
for the
police.
police,
Yeah,
the
don't-
police. I think it's necessary. I think the town has stood still, and they need to be able to provide for their families as well as protect the town, with full fidelity. And I just want to say I am in, agreement with it.
So, and also I do want to address that we are starting with police and fire again, for the sake of retention, and they are our 2 biggest departments. This does not mean that we are not going to still conduct a pay study, and we are looking at trying to address the pay issues across the board for all town of Spring Lake employees. But we want to make sure we start in those most critical places, and right now it is fire and police. So just so we know, this is not one and done. This is across the board. We'll address the pay issues for the entire staff.
I was gonna turn the light on, but I don't have a light anymore. I broke it.
Go ahead, Mr. Manager.
I just wanted to clear that up. One of the reasons we can do this now is because we do have elapsed salaries that won't affect this budget year. That's one of the reasons it was easier for us to do that on. Most of the rest of the departments don't have that kind of lap salary because they don't have as many people to be able to do that, to tag on what you were saying.
Thank you.
So,
Alderman Glacier?
thank you. So is this something that you need a vote for now?
Yes.
It's
the money's already budgeted?
It is already still budgeted, but it just shows that you guys understand that we are moving forward on this budget.
So you don't need a vote, you just need a
We do
consensus?
need a vote.
Yeah, you
for
do need a
this.
vote,
Okay, thank you.
because we are changing the pay of people.
Okay.
It's just easier to do that. Because what we'll do is if you guys approve this, then, PD and fire, then we'll have to put new PAFs in for everybody, which will go to Deborah Mack and them, she'll sign it off, and then the LGC will sign it off, and then we'll come back. So just like every other PAF, they'll be done, and that will be a whole line of it. So yeah, they'll go right back in front of everybody again anyway.
Okay. So the amount, you're gonna get us clarity on the amounts?
100%, yeah.
Okay. And then the initial amount for PD that I had received was 160 until June 30th, is that correct?
It's actually, it's gonna be less than that because, that was, I think it was February 1st, when that started.
Those numbers that started.
When it started, since we're a little bit later on that, it'll be a little bit less than that. I think last I looked at was 176, so it's probably, somewhere around 165.
And you're talking about from patrol to detective on up, that this would cover every?
That is correct. The only thing it didn't cover was the chief and the admin people. So every officer gets that, because,
Sworn officers except the chief.
that's correct.
Okay. Is the chief is salaried or?
Yeah, that's correct.
And, all right, thank you.
Mhm.
Alderman Lockwood?
Mayor, thank you. Bear with me here for just a second. I saw on social media, here we go again. Always something corrupt going on in the police and the town officials here in Spring Lake. We have worked extremely hard to change this mindset. We routinely show up at the Cops and Conversations, the Neighborhood Watch, Special Olympics events, and many other police events. Over the years, I've got to know a number of the police officers here in Spring Lake. The town was run poorly several times, in recent history resulting in the local government commission taking over full control of our finances to save us from ourselves. This board, not new anymore, has worked hard with the LGC to get us back in firm footing. We continue to work for the residents of Spring Lake to improve their services. This includes compensating our employees for their hard work. Many of you have seen what Spring Lake was and what it is now. And we're all looking forward to what Spring Lake will be. All government moves slow. This board was and is serious about a pay study and allocations of funds for our employees. Each employee that was with the town received a one-time compensation for the COVID bonus of up to $4,000. We're working hard to try to compensate our employees for a job well done. We had to get the criminal actions out of Spring Lake. We had to get the poor leadership out of Spring Lake. We've had to get the bad decisions out of Spring Lake and the apathy. To our Spring Lake Police Department, we hear you. We are here to work with you. We support you. We answer to the citizens. The law enforcement problem in Spring Lake is not just new to Spring Lake. It also affects the county, the state, and the nation. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion, questions? And I entertain a motion to increase fire police pay. Alderwoman Johnson?
So moved.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, I wasn't looking. All in favor?
Aye.
The motion carries unanimously. All right. Congratulations. Again, I wish we could have done this sooner. You guys know we've been trying to get the pay raise for everybody across the board, and I wish we could have done this sooner. But we got it done as much as we can, and we'll look to do more soon. So, and thank you for your continued service and patience. AD, this has been a long time coming, and I am so excited about this next item on our agenda. As you heard earlier in our public comments, we have been in the process of searching for a new manager since we were elected. The day before we all won our first election, our manager quit. Interim town manager quit and was reassigned through contract. We have been in office for 2.5 years, and we have seen 3 interim town managers during that tenure. But I am so proud to say that we are finally at a point where we have found a qualified candidate that has been approved by the LGC, and we have prepared the contract, which has been vetted and pre-audited by the LGC and approved, and we are ready to take a vote to hire on our permanent town manager. So, I'm sorry, applause goes there. So, I will now entertain a motion to hire our new our town manager, Mr. John Rory. Upon final signatures from the LGC, every single light is on. I don't know who was first, so I'm gonna default to Mayor Pro Tem. I'm sorry, Alderman Blackman.
Mayor, as you said very eloquently, that we have worked hard for quite a long time. We have come to a unanimous decision amongst this board. The candidate that has been vetted, been looked at, you will be more than pleased with the results that you will get from John Roy. So with that, I would like to make a motion that John Rory be our next Spring Lake Town Manager.
Who's second?
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem?
Whew, long time coming, a lot of work, a lot of interviews. We kissed a lot of frogs, but I'm happy to second that motion.
Awesome. Okay, here you guys go. Discussion. Alderman Palacios.
Yeah. So, the reason it's taken 2.5 years to get here is because of the history of the town. It's been hard to attract the right qualified candidates. We went through some of the process, some of the news got out there about, a specific person we had considered in the past, but this hasn't been easy. And every decision we encounter here on the board that has really bonded us as a board really comes around this one hiring. And so I'm very pleased. This candidate is somebody we interviewed, we fell in love with, and we hope to see a better Spring Lake because of his expertise he brings to the table. He comes from Camden, South Carolina, is the city that he's currently town manager of. He is from the Pinehurst area, and he's gonna tell you up front when you meet him, just call him John. He's very impressive, and he is a way of speaking that you don't get lost in the shuffle. He has the public in mind. He's very people-friendly, and I think that the citizens here will greatly benefit from him, as well as our leadership here in our town, who he has a special interest in continuing to develop. So I'm very happy with this. I can't say enough about how happy I am about this decision. And I think we have a hire date of May 1 for a start date. And until then, I think we're going to bring him in on a part-time basis until he can fully transition in. But that's to be determined, I guess. Anyway, thank you, Mayor.
I do want to take a moment to thank the 3 managers that we did have, because each of them played an integral step in the success of this town, this turnaround, starting with Miss Samantha Woolen-Weber, who was her, along with some of our contracted finance staff, were the ones who spotted the embezzlement and were instrumental in the prosecution of Gay Tucker as she embezzled over $500,000 from the community. She worked very closely with the LGC. She was there through our state audit, which was a very tough time, but she was there to work us through that. I want to commend Mr. Joe Durham we hired him to find us a town manager. However, we were in such bad shape, we weren't able to attract any qualified candidates. So him and his 30 years of town or city and county management decided to take on the position himself. He stayed with us for 9 months, implementing policies and procedures, putting forth a level of professionalism that the town hadn't seen in a very long time, and instrumental, and again, working with the LGC and making a smooth transition through a very messy situation, as Alderman Palacios talked about, where we thought we had a manager hired, but through situations and circumstances, we're unable, but it brings us down to Mr. Williams, and you guys know, we sing his praises a million times over, because he was literally thrown into this position. He was supposed to be our acting town manager for 2 weeks. He became our interim town manager for almost 2 years. We're at a year and a half now. During that time, he has obtained his ICMA certification. That's huge. He has connected with this community on a level that we hadn't seen. He has fixed some of those deep down, dark and gritty, dirty places, not just with Blythe, but with morale, with policy and procedure. Jason came in and he took this town by storm, and we would not be where we are without each of those managers playing a very crucial part in our success. So if we can, I would like to give them a round of applause. This is a tough guy, and they were great. So thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Durham, and thank you to Mrs. Willow Waver as well. Never touch your light on.
This has been a rough process. We went through a lot. We talked to a lot of people. We were almost there. But what I also want to echo the mayor. I just have to thank Mr. Williams, because he has had to put up with a lot with us. He manages the day-to-day. We don't make the decisions for him. But I can tell you the fact that we had his back in all of the decisions he made. We don't make them. We don't help him come to a decision, but I can say we have his back, and he has not let us down. So I just appreciate him, because I know we call him, and as, you know, we call him. Not for personnel issues, but we call him. You know, trash, whatever, we call him. So thank you, Jason. I want to say personally and publicly, thank you so much.
All right, I'll now call for the vote. All in favor?
You seconded motion.
All in favor? Aye. That is a unanimous aye to hire Mr. Jonathan Rory as our new town manager. Awesome. So, this has been a long meeting, but we are getting it done. And I'm excited to say we are at our updates. And the only update I have is that we have lunch with the mayor on March 27th at Ruby Tuesday at 12 p.m. And I would like to send out some very, very special happy birthday shout outs to Eric Windler. He's a part-time firefighter, excuse me. Vernon Allen in sanitation. Daniel Hernandez in police, Danny Sutton in police, Jason Swan in fire, Timothy Patterson in fire, Malik Passamore in police, Scott Shara in water, and a very, 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 very special one, because I work her nerves every day. Our town clerk, Miss Carly Autry, who will be celebrating her birthday as well this month. So happy birthday to all of our Spring Lake staff. Mayor Pro Tem?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll have a later announcement about a giveaway for Easter, probably at the next meeting, but other than that, I don't have anything.
Awesome. Alderman Thompson?
The only thing I have, the weather's changing in springtime, and so you have a lot of elderly and handicapped people that are not capable of cutting your grass, so if you know anybody, give them a hand, or either, I'm here to help as much as I can as well, so if you know anybody, help them out. That's all I have.
I thought you were gonna announce the pollen, because my sinuses, they're going nuts right now. Alderman Blackman?
Mayor, I got 4 things to talk about.
All right, let's go.
All right. So first is our cleanup totals. Last Saturday, we collected 3,580 pounds of trash on the streets of Spring Lake.
Wow.
We started out with 11, but guess what? We picked up a great big old bunch of volunteers that were out there cleaning up from Lillian Black all the way up to W.T. Brown and a couple of side streets out there. So I'd like to recognize Alderman Palacios, his son Levi, Charles, Patrick, his wife Lutz, daughter Kimberly, Lieutenant Dan Sutton, who's going to have a birthday coming up, his daughter Mallory, and her friend Megan. Mallory and Megan needed volunteer hours for school, so guess what? They got volunteer hours for coming out here and help cleaning up our streets. And our Spring Lake chapter of the Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated was busy cleaning up the town from Lillian Black to W.T. Brown. It was nice to have the leaders out there with these young men, teaching them to be future leaders of our town and what it takes to be leaders. And it's those little things. It's those things that you all are instructing, instilling, and teaching in these young men that I would like to personally say thank you for the hard work that you all were doing. I was watching you while they were out there cleaning it up. So thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. All right, so Mayor, we've been able to attack the town in small groups. We've been cleaning up the streets in different areas. It's kind of one of the campaigns that Alderman Palacios is working on with the Adopt the Streets so that people start cleaning up there. But if there are any organizations that would like to continue to clean up, whether it's a church challenge, whether it's a fraternity or a sorority challenge to help clean up our streets, we do meet at 8 a.m. at Southwinds Plaza. The next cleanup will be April 6, 2024. And you can see right up there, we've got some young men and we've got one of our aldermen out there that's cleaning up the streets. That's over there on Louise Street, over there by Odell. So that's where he was at while he was out there. So that is the first thing. Second thing is the banner program. Carly, can you bring that out a little further so that the people in the audience can see that? While you're trying to do pictures, you're doing it all. So the Spring Lake, there you go.
Wait a minute, we don't know him.
So the Spring Lake Banner Program is to honor our military, our veterans, our active duty that are out there. And so I submitted mine, and there's a picture of me years ago. And so it's $188 for the banner program. And this is a program that we established last year. It's coming to fruition. You can see either Bernard, raise your hand, Bernard, or Miss Hickman. And so they accept cash, they accept checks, they accept credit cards as well.
Yeah.
And so what you need is a good digital picture of your loved one or you in uniform, $188, and the information on the application that you fill out. And so that's what my banner will look like, but that is the banner that we got as the proof to show people what that does look like. So your picture, your banner will be flown over Main Street from Memorial Day through Veterans Day. After Veterans Day, that's brought down. You are encouraged to come to Town Hall, pick up your banner, see Bernard, and get your banner, clean it up, take it home, bring it back the next year to have it flown year after year as long as it's in good condition. Sounds like a win-win for the town. All right.
Absolutely.
Applications over here.
The applications are right back over here. We've got some on the table. The deadline is April 12th to get them flown for this year. So you can turn it in before April 12th. But the applications are back there. They're simple to fill out, even I can fill it out. So there we go. Also, moving on, I'd like to thank the Spring Lake Ministerial Alliance, Pastor Vernon Marsh, Bishop Alfred Marshall, Chaplain Roosevelt Smith, being servant leaders, as well as Shalea Wright and the staff of Dream Team Quest Foundation for coming out and cooking at our Spring Lake Recreation Center. There's a free breakfast for the folks. So you could go out there and play basketball. That's not my thing. But you could get a free breakfast and work it off with breakfast. So very good of them to do it. It's going to be held once a month. So to our Spring Lake Ministerial Alliance, to our faith-based leaders out there, to our residents, great things are happening in Spring Lake. So come on out. Lastly, Mayor, it's been almost 10 days since the election. Most, not all, but most of those campaign signs that are out there. And I'm seeing now that it's not really the ones that are living close to our district here. It's some of these other ones, these Fred Van Cannon's signs that just magically appeared. So if they don't get out of here, then we need to start looking at enforcing our sign ordinance and get that up to speed.
We are authorized to throw those in the trash can 3 days after the elections. So we are being a bit generous with giving those who have signs left out time to get them. However, you have heard publicly that it's time for them to go. If they are not picked up within the next 24 to 48 hours, consider them trash.
So can I just say, if they're at a polling location, they have 3 days. I believe it's 10 days.
10 days out of the-
Anywhere else, yes. So-
We did have people that ran for our offices at our last election that still maintained up till just a few days ago. So there was a few of them that straggler signs that didn't get picked up. So just want to put that on our radar, Mayor.
Absolutely.
That's it for me.
Awesome. Alderwoman Chadwick?
I don't have any updates, but I do want to give a shout out to my sunshine who celebrated a birthday yesterday. So we're proud of her. Happy blessed birthday, baby.
Alderman Palacios?
Thank you. Happy birthday, son. The Appearance Committee meeting is meeting on Wednesday. That is at the Rec Center at 4 p.m. The Appearance Committee is responsible for all the beautification in the town. And if you have any ideas, come on out. We do have a vacancy. We'd love to have you. And our Earth Day cleanup for the town, our spring cleanup is April 20th on Earth Day. And we're gonna meet at 9 a.m. at the Rec Center. And we're gonna have litter pickup, tire drop off, aluminum can drop off, electronic waste drop off, and we hope to have the medication drop off as well. So it's a big deal here. We love beautifying our town, and we really love our citizens and business owners that have a vested interest to help us out. So if you have an organization, family, if you have a church, please come on out. We'd love to have your help that day. That's April 20th. And that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Awesome. Which one? All right. If there is nothing else, I will now entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to NCGS 143.318A3, attorney-client privilege, and NCGS 143.318A6, personnel. Alderwoman Thompson.
So moved.
Alderwoman Chadwick. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We are now going into closed session again. Motion carries.